Can you hear me?
All right, the Soul Stream has begun. Mortal Kombat Online and the Realm Kast live show, bringing you everything Mortal Kombat related, from news to guests to everything else we got going on today. I'm your host, the Mortal Kombat FANTiM, and with me as always is my co-host, our lore master, Yani. Welcome, Yani.
Thank you, FANTiM. And this time our guests are ready to come on in, and we have actually two of them. Firstly, MrMidniteOwl returns. Brand, thank you so much for joining again. And first-time guest, True Underdog Gaming. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm not monotone anymore. I was backstage for a bit and I was desaturated, but now I have all the color on the camera, so it means that I'm good to go. Y'all can hear me, right? It's all coming through.
We can hear you and we can see you in all the colors.
And we saw you dancing during in the green room. So
yeah, I was getting pumped. That was a pretty good beat. Nice.
I'm so glad somebody's commenting on the theme. I think it's a great theme, so that's good to hear.
Yeah, and it's brought to you by Doidank. Yeah, so if you guys want to check him out, he's on Spotify. He made this theme for us, and he's done a few other shows like Midnight's Edge and some stuff like that. He's good. He's got some good stuff. All right, so Yanni, what have you got going on today?
Well, I think actually before we get into anything, for everybody who's watching, maybe some of you are just watching on a platform where you're not able to talk, you can actually join the live chat through YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or just on realmkast.com. And I think you wanted to re-announce the shop?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, the Realm Kast does have a official store. You can find it at shop.realmkast.com. And we got a bunch of cool Realm Kast merchandise there. You see some of our guests sometimes wear things and like cool cups and stuff like that. So yeah, check it out.
So before I get into
good.
Oh yeah? All right, glad to hear. Tell us if there's anything you like specifically. That'll be good to know. We want to bring more of those things.
Yeah.
But before I actually go through the plan of what's going on today, True Underdog, like, we're actually just meeting right now. We didn't get a chance to meet backstage, so nice to meet you. Love your content. You are actually the source of a lot of memes that I post on the Meme Realm, and I do credit you for the record.
Oh man, I gotta see some of those. I haven't seen any of these memes. Sounds legendary, especially if you watch like the podcast that I'm on. Also, the Combat Kings. There's so many memes on that one too. It gets really goofy. But yeah, no,
yeah,
very happy to be
goofy
here.
is the word. No, a pleasure to have you on.
The chat's being pretty funny. Is there an inside joke that I don't know? Because someone in the chat said they want to see me get sturdy.
I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure about
I thought it was sexual.
Am I not rigid enough? I hope you don't mean below deck, because that's like an OnlyFans thing. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So we're announcing our OnlyFans today. No, I'm joking.
We can get all exclusive content to Underdog. And all right. So go ahead,
plan
Yanni.
for discussion today.
What do we got?
We have got the infamous, I would say, at this point, discussion on, well, really, Onslaught. I know that many people are happy about it and many people are unhappy about it. And I think we should definitely discuss it, considering the trailer that we got. We're going to talk about Combat for Rare. For those of you who haven't heard about it, maybe you have. Whether you haven't, it's a good cause to sort of at least raise attention to. General Mortal Kombat news, upcoming video game news. This kind of relates to Onslaught in a way, but who knows with, the other pots on the stove that Ed's mentioned before. And of course, our G Fuel giveaway, which we mentioned on the last Soul stream. We'd like to announce the winner today. However, there is still time to enter during the show. FANTiM is handling all that behind the scenes, so good luck to him. But you still are able to enter. All you need to do is share your favorite Realm Kast episode on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, and actually tag at Realm Kast or at Mortal Kombat Meme Realm in the actual image itself. Other than that, we got some miscellaneous things such as merchandise. Should we get started then?
Yeah. And so True Underdog, this is your first time kind of joining us. Basically, it's a roundtable discussion. We kind of go through all the different Mortal Kombat news, and we'll break it down for our fans and kind of let them know what's going on, because there's a lot of things that go missed. As you, of course, know, you guys talk about some stuff on the Kombat Kings as well as do some crazy antics. So
we just cover it 1 month late because the editing takes a long time. We always strike when the iron is ice cold, as they say.
I hear a lot of complaints about the editing. FANTiM tells me all the time.
not your editing, just the editing process. Like, Yani doesn't appreciate that.
Hey, I've done it a couple times. Just
right,
so do you want to put up the first merch that we got? We actually wanted to mention this on the last Soul stream. We didn't get a chance.
Yeah, let me pull up a tab here so everybody can see. All right. There we go.
Ooh.
So the Mortal Kombat versus Scorpion Raiden limited edition art print has actually officially sold out, and so I feel bad for anybody who's hearing about this for the first time. This is something that Big Bad Toy Store has put together for the Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary. So it was announced, and as Yani said, we wanted to mention it last week, but we ran out of time, of course, with talking with Jeremy Adams. Not last week, but last episode. But yeah, a massive Mortal Kombat poster, $104.99, and they are selling this, and some spectacular art. I mean, what do you guys think? Would you pay $100 for this?
How big is it?
24 by 18 inches.
Size matters.
I mean, it do matter. Yeah, like same with those statues I have behind me. I've definitely thrown money away on collectible stuff, so maybe I would have. It could go behind me if the wall had any more room on it, but the posters already cover all my surface area. I actually bought 4 more recently at a convention in London. It was EGX London, and I bought like 4 more, and there's nowhere to put them. They're just sitting on my glass coffee table because I have frames, but where do I hang them? I'm a fool.
It means you need a new house, clearly.
Exactly. Time to double up, like Sim style. Just buy more real estate.
Happy birthday to Leatherface, by the way.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Leatherface. Oh, Leatherface 5002.
Leatherface 5002. Not Leatherface, but yeah.
Okay. There are 5001 other Leatherfaces. You got to be specific. It's Leatherface 5002. Happy birthday to you.
All right. So, as well as that, I mean, we're going to kind of run through the merchandise pretty quick because, like we said, this is kind of old news for most people. But also, Iron Studios no longer has it up. Let me see if I can find another
my favorite. Buy it. Pre-order.
So, Iron Studios, for those of you who don't know, they release Mortal Kombat statues as well as others. And here is a recently announced Baraka, and the trailer is so badass.
Yeah. Do you want me to turn on volume on full screen?
Yeah, if you can, that would be cool. Maybe in 1080 rather than 240p.
It means more to the imagination this way. We can imagine the clarity.
I mean, it looks great on my screen. I don't know how the screen's displaying this, but
it looks pretty good to me. Get the general idea.
And the music is sick.
They have is I'm a big statue collector. I gotta see if they make any others that I want to get.
Oh, dude, you're gonna love Iron Studios if that's the case. They've got some amazing stuff.
Yeah, they really do.
My man Baraka hits the gym. He is striated. You see that Borealis major and minor just coming off the deltoid? This guy never skips the gym.
Nothing beats a classic.
You can tell. What was that, Bren?
Nothing beats a classic.
I was just gonna say, you can definitely tell he doesn't skip leg day considering his loincloth skin in MK11.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The loincloth.
Unironically showing the most skin in that game of all the male characters.
And all the female characters.
Yeah, that's true also.
That's so true.
I like it.
Devora has that one glitch, but like other than that, yeah.
Wait,
Wait. What?
Well, actually, no, Devora's naked. One of her outfits, she's just straight up naked. I forgot about that. Because she's the
Ah,
credit
but-
character.
Isn't her skin technically an exoskeleton, meaning she's
Yeah.
wearing armor?
You're looking at those bones, baby. All those bones are just up front and center.
All right, I'll let this keep playing. But yeah, so Iron Studios Baraka. Yanni, do you got a price on this? How much are they selling this thing for?
Don't actually. I can check that out quickly, but man, I'm interested because it looks so
One
freaking
soul.
cool. And all of their statues. What was that?
One
One
soul.
soul. Iron
Their stuff,
Studios.
their stuff's usually about $300. This one's a 1 to 10 scale. Oh, and as I'm saying, it's showing up, so that's great. 900 grams, 2-pound statue of Baraka. So
It seems like the pre-order page has gone down, so they must have sold out. If that's the case.
yeah, I was wondering that. That was that first link I pulled up, and it was completely gone. So they that must have gone quick. Is Iron Studios the ones that are doing the Noob Saibot statue also?
No, not that I know of.
That because I know there's an amazing Noob Saibot that's coming out soon.
Ooh, that's a
The
good
only
character.
Noob Saibot that I know is from McFarlane Toys. Is there another one that I've missed?
There's a whole figure.
Sideshow. It's Sideshow, I think.
Okay,
They're
sure.
my number one usually. I get a lot of sideshow statues.
gosh,
Kind of
they're,
wasted. You can't see them behind me because it's dark, but
they're amazing.
Oh, then you're gonna love this one. It is Sideshow, and I'm sending it over to you right now, FANTiM. You can put that
Oh,
on
yeah.
the screen if you like.
Yeah, let me pull that
This
up
is
here.
this is a measly $855.
Oh my god.
How does that compare to the prices of the other statues, Underdog?
oh, I was reading the chat. Sorry, how much was it?
$855.
I mean, that's about standard, I suppose, for its size. It's a bit pricey, but it could be. Oh, wait, this is different. It's Noob Saibot. Yeah, it's pretty on point. Usually between $800 and $1,000, depending on which edition you're buying. This one should probably be 1/3 or 1/4 scale though for that price, right?
Yeah.
It's huge. There's
Yeah.
where's it? That
I mean, it
picture.
comes with 2 people technically. It's like 2 figures in one, so it's actually a
Yeah.
really good deal, honestly.
And they're
22
sitting
inches
in
high,
pre-orders.
56 centimeters, basically. Tall, rather.
Nice.
And our model here is 80 inches high. So
Those human models always crack me up. They also sometimes put like an apple next to it, but all those things don't work because like there's so many different types of apples that all vary in size, so you don't know what
Everybody
apple
knows
they're using.
you use a banana. That's the whole point. Banana for scale.
And that
Yeah,
could be
I know,
a
I
short
was thinking
dude
that
back
too.
there. That could be like moist critical, you know, a solid 5'6" or something. So we don't know how big that statue is with him. But yeah, it's about a pretty good price, honestly. 800 for 2 figures that are kind of together is actually a pretty good deal, I think.
Yeah, it
yeah.
is cool. Oh, it's just
I'm
a
not
lot
spending it.
more pricey compared to other statues from other companies.
Yeah, it's just because it's big. If they're 1/3 or 1/4 scale, they start to get like double the price.
well,
Which
guys,
does,
I think
yeah.
we should move on to Onslaught because I know everybody's in here and they're like, "Oh wait, is that all we're doing? Is talking about figures today?" And so let me pull up a couple things here and let's get into Underdog. Have you played it at all?
No, I didn't get to yet. Is there a way to play it like legally? I know people were like getting on the App Store when it was like accidentally leaked and stuff. And then if you went to the Thinny, he actually just offered you like a full version of the game that was available. I think it's still in demo, even if you crack
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Mhm.
But he's been showing all the stuff that it comes with. So I've seen a lot of info on it because whenever you cover something, you want to be informed. But I have not played it. But I have played Raid Shadow Legend. No, I'm just kidding. I have played it, but I'm kidding about the segue into sponsor.
So there's, I mean, legally. So okay, so the game was released as an early access version, and only in
Okay.
some countries, and that's how everybody got a hold of it. And of course, you know, a few people out there ripped it down, started spreading out the APKs for it. So the early access version is out there, but it's not that big. There's not that much stuff on it as far as gameplay goes. But it's there and available to try it out if you can get your hands on it.
Well, why don't we, just for those who may not have seen it, why don't we pull up the trailer?
Oh yeah. Well,
And-
is it a trailer or is it the intro?
Oh, the intro, rather. Sorry, yes.
Okay. Yeah, let me actually. I don't.
Don't go with the low quality one we posted. Go
There
with
is
the HD.
an especially hype moment in that intro that got me super excited, and I was just
think
happy to see it.
I think I know which one it is, actually.
Somebody asked, "Is everything bigger in Texas?" Not my dick, but everything else is bigger in Texas, from what I've heard. I don't know what y'all are like allowed to say and not say on this, so that's why I chose like the censored version. Dick is
Cool.
somebody's name, technically, so I can say that. Like Dick
Yeah,
Grayson.
exactly. All
My
right,
favorite
so
superhero.
here is our trailer for the, or the. I mean, everybody keeps calling it a trailer. It's not even a trailer.
You got-
it's just the
you got the
opening
sound on?
cinematics. I do. I don't know why it's not playing through.
Melina, there she is.
Is your hype moment the thing that I think it is with Melina and Katana?
No.
Oh,
It's a different fight that happens, yeah. Though I do think it's funny
Alright.
how like Shao Kahn's just surrounded by purple due to Sindel and Melina being there. He's like, all
Yeah.
my bitches wear purple.
It sounds not possible?
No,
So
I don't
the-
know why it's not playing through YouTube. I think YouTube's. I don't know. It's worked in the past, but
Just imagine the MK theme, I guess, going on
Wait,
the
we
whole
can just
time.
do it. I'm just imagining Liu Kang right now.
if you just imagine, I mean, we could do the whole sound effects for the whole.
For me,
thing
the
if you
hype part
wanted.
was right here. Kung Lao steps in.
Yeah,
That was
you know,
so sick.
so many people have commented on that and
Yeah.
just been excited that Kung Lao finally got some like good action and got treated well.
Got to actually fight Shao Kahn, not just like snuck up on.
Yeah.
The Melina and
His neck
Katana fight
snapped.
is cute too because they switch weapons at one point. Which
That's
is a
what I
reference
thought
to
the hype
two
moment
things.
was.
Yeah. It obviously references MK11 because Katana had the Sai as like her moveset, but also like they're twins. Like she's a clone, so she would know how to use the fans. So
Yeah.
And then the Sindel
No!
thing, of course, we've heard the "Not My Sindel" getting referenced a lot because
A lot of
he's
nicknames,
fighting for
yeah.
Khan. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
kinda
but
like
Panda
evil
says
Sindel, like Twin
What
Del.
Panda says?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Twindell. Yeah. I'm just looking at Panda's comment. The MK Mobile cutscene reminds me of the OG 3D era intros, but I don't know why. I totally agree, and it seems to be a very common opinion. It
Well, it's very
really
Shaolin
does.
Monks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very Shaolin Monks. It's very even.
Yeah, I was gonna
like
say
Armageddon.
reminds me of Shaolin Monks.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a
been
little bit
lot
of
comments about
Armageddon.
that.
This part kind of had me laughing. I don't know why. Just the fact that they're getting bullied by someone that small. They're like, no, stop. Don't tase me. Shinnok, please. You always do this.
It doesn't make sense though if you think about it. I love the trailer. The
You know
trailer
the-
is so hype. Yeah, Bran?
The recent years have done really well with improving my overall impression of Shinnok. Because, going back to like MK4, he was kind of a wimp,
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of neat to see the redesign and his implementation. Like MKX was pretty awesome for bringing him back in a big way.
Yeah.
The biggest complaint I heard about him with MKX was that they just kind of made him a generic monster at the end of it. But
Yes.
besides that, I mean, even how they ended MKX, like that was the biggest thing I was looking forward to in MK11 was seeing him come back as a or seeing all of his after effects and just seeing his head still having some part in the story. But
Yeah, his head's a battery. It's great. Someone made like a fake DLC trailer for him, and it was done super well. Like he played as the head, and I thought it was
Oh,
hilarious. It got a
I
bunch of
haven't seen
dislikes
this.
because it was clickbait. But like the ending was super funny too, because like it ends with like his little Shinnok thing, right? Then a little teaser at the end where like Quan Chi's head falls into frame, and he goes, "Good to see you, old friend." And, like, implies that Quan Chi's gonna be a playable head too. Thought it was super funny.
so
That smile at the end of the trailer with well, not the end, like near the end where Shinnok is just like he looks hilarious, and it reminds me of his smile in Mythologies, and I'm pretty sure it's a callback to that.
Oh, okay.
what was his smile in Mythology?
Like, I mean, I'm gonna look absolutely stupid doing that. I'm not even gonna do it. Just scroll back. I'll show
no.
you.
no, what was the smile?
He just
like a
looks
big
really
one?
creepy. Yeah, he's just like sitting there like that. Like it's really
Joker
weird.
smile.
Kinda, yeah.
And
All
I
right.
agree with Panda. I do like Shinnok's old look in Armageddon too. I'm a big fan of him wearing like the bright, obnoxious colors, even though he's a villain. It kind of reminds me of like Marvel villains back in the comic book days. You know, they wore bright
Yes.
colors like Green Goblin with the purple and the green. So I kind of liked it. But his new look is definitely more sinister, and you know right away that like he's the villain, and he's not wearing like clown makeup. Like it kind of seemed like in Armageddon, if you were a casual viewer, you'd be like, they added the clown character, like he's all bright colors and like he's got a pale skin.
So what you're saying is MK11 got Shinnok DLC.
Yeah.
With the Joker.
Oh, with Joker? Yes.
It's the sort of, what do you call it? I mean, his headgear. It's very weird to me in comparison to how he looked in his first appearance. Well, his appearance in MK4. I don't know. It's kind of crowny in a way, which makes sense. It's supposed to be very Lucifer-like. He's supposed to have overthrown
like
Lucifer,
an anti-pope kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
in a way.
kind of shape,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
red. Yeah,
Yeah.
just a religious zygote kind of thing, right? Because he is the deity, as Quan Chi describes him. So he would have like that kind of church-like garb, but evil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why it's kind of like.
Yeah,
the
I
Horus
much
is very
preferred
similar
him
way.
in. Yeah, I much preferred his look in Mythologies versus MK4.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
His
With like the long
MK4
robes hanging over. Yeah, and he floated like Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair.
I thought it was just a better representation.
Hmm.
It was kind of
Can you
weird
play as
getting to him like he was really powerful in Mythologies, and then in MK4 he's just a pushover. I never found him challenging.
Yeah. He didn't
Yeah,
have his own gimmick.
That's probably why they went the route they did with him in MKX, but I don't think that was the right decision.
So that one guy, 123 comments, Onslaught looks like garbage in terms of gameplay. It's literally nothing. The cutscene story and art will be worth checking out on YouTube and stuff, but it's not worth downloading and playing. And I've seen this comment everywhere. But
yeah, go ahead.
at the same time, so we've been playing it, and it's addicting enough to where I've kept playing it, even though none of the stuff's going to carry over once the official game releases, I'm sure. But like, it kind of sucks you in a lot of ways. Sorry, Brandon, what were you gonna say?
I think that was me that was talking.
I don't think its main purpose has been unveiled yet.
Interesting.
It's a secret trailer for MK12. It's gonna have a sequel trailer.
I mean, you say main purpose, and I get where you're going with that, as you just said, Underdog. But at the same time, a mobile game, for me, there's one true purpose there, and that's microtransactions, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. As FANTiM said, we've actually been playing it, and it is fun. I can already see how they're going to be trying to get people to pay, and I personally don't like that. It's very predatory, in my opinion. But at the same time, for a mobile game, it's actually quite good. It's a pretty interesting gameplay design. So you've got the characters auto-attacking on their own, but you get to choose when and where they use the abilities, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Or you can just set it on auto. But what I find funny is that the main speed that you're going to be playing this game on is guaranteed to be double speed.
Yeah,
so
it always
you're just
is,
watching like running around like an MK11, you know?
Or at least until the your power bars fill up, so you can actually do something. Because it's just, you're just sitting there watching people fight until you have enough energy to do something in the game, and then that's when I'll like take it off at 2 times speed. And I'll kind of plan out my moves a little bit better. But it is a mobile game. It's predatory. Like, I can already see how many crystals I'm going to be spending money on. I'm like, this is not good for my wallet.
This will be the 3rd game of this kind that I've played a lot of, because I get sponsors on my channel, and like, jokes on them, because I actually enjoy the games, right? No matter how much they're memed on. Like, I actually got pretty addicted to Raid for a bit. And then Bloodlines was another game, and it's actually very fun too. I log in every day to play that one. So to anyone watching who's skeptical, do not underestimate like the addictive nature of mobile games, because they've got it down to a science, the same way that Marvel films, up until recently, they started kind of sucking. But before then, Marvel had like a formula that worked every single time. That's how mobile games kind of feel. So I'm sure this game will addict me too. The main fun for me and draw for me is always like collecting all the different characters.
Yes.
And unfortunately, from this beta version that we had, I was a bit sad because there were no like 3D era characters from what I've heard. It was mainly like the NetherRealm era characters, like especially MKX and 11. And I was like, oh darn, like Drummond isn't like an unlockable character. I can't play as like Meat. I can't play as Natara, but maybe in the full version we'll get that. And if we do, that's going to be a fun reason to actually pick it up. But
Yeah.
if not, I'll be a bit sad. Like I know for a fact there's going to be like 5 versions of the same character each, because their names kind of give that away. Like one of them's called like Sharpshooter Aaron Black. So I'm sure there's like Marksman Aaron Black, or like, yeah, exactly. Same with Shao Kahn. So if that's all it is, it's just the MK11 roster, but there's like 10 different versions of each character, I'll be a bit sad. I like some of the NPCs though, like some of the new characters. They have a Lin Kuei lady that like took over and went a bit viral, at least on my Twitter.
I saw that post of yours, like the new waifu. Totally agree.
It's so funny too, because that's a generic like Lin Kuei warrior. She's not even like a specific name or anything, which means that off screen, I like to imagine every female Lin Kuei just has to wear skirts. It's part of like the uniform. And someone already made art for it too. It's from some anime, but he's like, I've decided that all Lin Kuei women will wear skirts. And it's like, they had like Sub-Zero instead there.
I saw that. Funny. Somebody made it to a meme already. It's great.
Yeah, it was great. So if we get more of that, like really cool original characters, that could be fun too. But I'm a very big fan of random Lin Kuei lady.
See, it's funny you say that. And while I'm a fan of her design, I'm not a fan of the idea of the fodder characters. I feel like there are definitely enough Mortal Kombat base roster characters that could have just been on this game's roster from the start. I don't like that we have to pick up, like, for example, special ops character, random NetherRealm character. It's like in MK Mobile, the previous game that they had, which is still going. But it's you just get a bunch of Oni and this and that and this, and it's just like, I don't want that. I want to play Rain. I want to play Noob Saibot, you know?
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. You don't want to play as the random Hell Wraith that Scorpion gets, like at the very start. You don't want to main that character, or the Guardian, which is the female version of that random Hell Wraith that Scorpion picks up. You don't want to, play with them. Also, by the way, I wanted to comment. Someone named I'm the Fan apparently went to the high school that I taught at. So, GG, nice to see you in the chat.
That's really cool.
So a lot of people have asked, where does this take place? And I don't want to jump too much into spoiler territory, because some people might actually play this game and hate us for doing that. But I don't know. Do you guys think it's safe to mention where it actually takes place?
I think we should handle this like we did with the movie. Let's, give info, but not overly spoiler. Keep it fresh for people as well.
Well, see, the thing is, this might tie into stuff that Brand wants to talk about, and we're about to talk about in a little bit, the future of Mortal Kombat. And where this takes place, in my opinion, is the future of Mortal Kombat, as far as like timeline wise. So I'm being vague on purpose. Shred Game says spoil it. Panda says I vote for spoilers. I don't know. Anybody else want to back me up here and say I should?
2 votes. That's 2 out of 2.
I mean, it's only like the early parts of the game, so I think it should be okay to go ahead with it. I mean, I don't see anyone saying no spoilers. I see people for it. I don't see anybody opposed. I also like that whenever you raise up the UI on the stream, like it puts my head right in the Realm Kast logo and gives me a little hat. I like that. I'm just like,
I think we have to get one made and send it to him now, just like that.
I would wear it. My hair is never like predictable. I can't trust it. So if I could just wear a hat instead, like every time I streamed, let's go. Or every time I record.
All right, so let's talk timeline a little bit, without getting too much into it. From what I can tell, this takes place between Mortal Kombat 9 and Mortal Kombat X, but it's not the timeline that we're used to. I mean, does that sound right to you, Yanni?
Yeah, that's probably the best way to say it. It's clear that, from our last Soul stream with Jeremy Adams, we were discussing Snowblind, and we were talking about how the whole multiverse addition to Mortal Kombat has allowed them to sort of tell these standalone stories. And it looks like they're going in that same direction with the games now, or at least this mobile game, because Onslaught is clearly, from even just the intro scene that we've all just watched without sound, you can tell that this is based during or at the beginning of MK11 in some way, but then as you play through it, you can tell that things are completely different, while also
like,
still
Melina
remaining
is there
the
for one thing. Like
Yeah,
Melina's
exactly.
actually there.
Yeah. And this, in my opinion, like, is the future of Mortal Kombat. Whatever comes out now, I mean, in the past, we've had a few creators from the Mortal Kombat franchise say stuff like, this is wrapping up the story, talking about Mortal Kombat 11. So I think whatever we get from here on out, it makes it its own thing. But in my opinion, that makes me less interested in Onslaught, because I'm playing a generic game with characters that I'm used to, but as far as the storyline in an RPG, I'm not invested in it, because where is it taking us? Like, what's the point now? We already have our conclusion to Mortal Kombat
Well,
that we grew up with. Yeah, go ahead, Bran.
Yeah, I had a thought on that. It's something that kind of has made sense to me, is the fact that Mortal Kombat has grown exponentially, especially going back through looking at a lot of the statistics, because you have a lot of internet arguments about what game was successful over the other. And it looks like a lot of the original games going back to the arcade era, they were only selling like several million copies, which sounds like a lot until you realize that, you know, MK11 sold 12 million copies. And I think MK9 sold 6 million copies. So the fan base has really grown. So for a lot of people that have been wanting reintroduction of the 3D era characters, you see a lot of complaints with that, with the fact that they don't have characters like Nitara, Onaga, Draman, Malak, things like that. I kind of feel that the multiverse has given them the chance to do what a lot of comics have done. I mean, if you suddenly saw a Spider-Man movie and then you went to go read the comics and realize that it's on issue 800, are you really going to get into the comics? Probably not, because you have 800 issues to catch up on. That's why the comics companies like DC and Marvel have gotten smart, and every so often they create a new series, and it starts at issue 1 and it does things differently. And I'm kind of feeling like MK9 was that to an extent, to kind of reintroduce people to the original game that may not have been aware of it or what Mortal Kombat really was. And now that's been, 11 years. So the fan base has doubled since then. And we're now looking at a game that isn't available widely. So my thoughts are that we're going to move into a direction where we kind of start with issue 1 of the new series.
Yeah.
And I think Onslaught is kind of similar to that, in that it's issue 1 of a new series. It's something different. Whether MK12 is going to be like that or not remains to be said. But I can't imagine that they're going to continue making sequel after sequel that connects all the way back to an arcade game from 1992. I think we're going to eventually see something that starts over to an extent.
Yeah, it's very possible. I think because that is the issue with comics, is there's like 800 issues, but also they sometimes tie in the multiverses together, and sometimes they merge them too. Like, I think recently they merged the Ultimate timeline in Marvel with like the main Marvel 604 or whatever it is universe. And I'm like, wait, they just merged them together, so now all that lore is like combined? They could even pull that off with Mortal Kombat now. They're definitely trying to get an extended universe thing going. So imagine if they're like, here is old school Scorpion from like the very first like Mortal Kombat trilogy meeting up with MK11 starts Scorpion, who's like, got his own clan and stuff, and they meet up, that kind of thing, which MK11 kind of already did with the time travel. But yeah, I think it's an interesting thought that they're going to like try to reboot it every now and then and also combine stuff together and make their own little multiverse to like draw from. I think my only issue with Onslaught in regards to the story, and I knew it was going to be in that time zone that you said, because like we see Scorpion is still serving Quan Chi at the start. So we knew it had to be before MKX. But what my issue is, I actually like how Sub-Zero is the one that comes to Scorpion with the revelation about how they were both tricked and betrayed and stuff. But in Onslaught, it's like the opposite. Scorpion comes to Sub-Zero, and it's way less impactful because out of the two characters, no offense to Scorpion fans, I don't see Scorpion as like the olive branch extending one most of the time. And I don't see him as the one who would like do the research into that either. So it's like they just gave Scorpion that moment instead. And the reason that Frost betrays him is the dumbest it's ever been. It's just like, I disagree with you on this one thing. Screw you, Sub-Zero.
Yeah, I am totally with you on that, especially because it kind of takes away from Sub-Zero as a character. He's supposed to be the calm and collected and wise character that he is. But then if you have Scorpion taking on that role, it's kind of a whole facet of Sub-Zero that's just being minimized in favor of Scorpion. And Scorpion already has so much going for him. So it's just a shame when you see something like that. But one thing that I do want to focus on is exactly what Bran just said. And I totally agree because, yes, we've seen that MK11 and Aftermath really were setting up this whole multiverse thing. And I personally am not a fan of that. I love the effect that it's had in the sense that, as we were talking about with Jeremy Adams, it's allowed us to get some standalone stories and everything. That's great. But it does now mean that technically nothing is canon anymore. And that's one of the things that I loved about Mortal Kombat, the canon. It was trying to fit all those pieces together and understand the whole story itself. And I've likened it to Soulsborne games in the past, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Elden Ring now, etc. You wander around the world finding little pieces and then putting it all the story together. And that way you continue to learn more and more about Mortal Kombat as you go, for example. But now it's just like, oh, well, anything goes.
Yeah. Every incarnation of Mortal Kombat from here on out can be its own story.
I don't see that a lot.
What do you mean, Bren?
Like I don't see individual games being one-offs. Thinking of them in terms of, let's say, a trilogy. So if you look at 9, 10, and 11 as a trilogy, that more or less told a huge chunk of lore. And I think Onslaught is going to be a multi-year game that's going to go through a lot of lore. It's going to be its own universe, but it'll have just as much lore as, previous chunks of trilogies. If you look at MK 1 through 3, 4 through, etc. So it is infuriating at times, but I think it also allows a lot of other stories to be told, as well as telling the same stories in a different way. Because, Scorpion's story is completely told. It revolves around vengeance, and they've already extended that by doing the redemption arc. And then they repeated everything again in 11. So how many more times can you really do with the character? There's not really much. He's pretty much done everything you can possibly do in the last 11 games. So I think what you're going to see is variations on a lot of people's stories. And depending on how they approach it moving forward, you might have some interesting variations on how they can tell this. And that kind of connects a little bit into how the previous movie told its story, because there's a lot of people disappointed with it. And I think some of it comes from a lore perspective, ignoring any people's issues with the cinematography, Cole Young, etc. It did its own thing with trying to tell the setup for a much larger story, and there's obvious changes to the lore with it. And while people might be angry about it, I'm thinking that the multiverse has kind of set it up so that it can stand on its own. So yeah, I mean, people might be angry about it, but it's no different than Onslaught. It's no different than the NRS era of games, where every reboot is sort of standing on its own, so that if you like it, you like it. If not, well, there's something else coming. Funny thing is Future Boy had actually just done a video today where he sort of strung together all of the random bits of news, and I don't think a lot of people realize that Ed Boon was promoted a year ago to creative director of Mortal Kombat. So I believe he actually oversees every single piece of media surrounding Mortal Kombat now. He's no longer just in charge of the video games, and just from his interactions on social media with Todd Gardner, Ed Boon is very much involved in the sequel to the movie. So whether fans like the movie or not, you have one of the co-creators directly involved in it. So it's definitely worth checking out just on that alone. The fact that it could be considered canon in its own right. It's just in a different multiverse.
I mean, I like the idea of that because I'm just in agreement. I think it's fun to see like a new trilogy every time if they wanted to do that. Like, I'd be totally down. The issue is you are walking a tightrope, because if you change a character too much, it's going to really upset people. We saw that with Sindel. But your idea would have been better if they waited until the reboot to make Sindel like that and gave us like a canon version of Sindel and MK11 that made more sense with the lore we'd seen in X and 9, which had already established that she was like the same Sindel as in the 3D era games. But then in 11, they just retconned all of it. That was stupid. But if they had started from scratch and said, oh, this is how it is, like, this is the new universe, here's how it went down, fine. That would have been completely cool. And also, like, there was that one leak a while back, which is probably not true, but it was saying, like, allegiances change in the new game. And that would be interesting to see, like, good version of this character, bad version of that character. Like, it's interesting to me. I'd like to see that. So that can only happen if they do reinvent the wheel every now and then. So that could be a lot of fun.
Sure. And I mean, I agree with you both in the sense that, I also look at it in terms of trilogies, really. But I don't feel like the whole multiverse approach was necessary to tell stories as a trilogy. Because if you look at the trilogies that we've had up until now, we had Mortal Kombat 1 through 3. I know 4 is kind of in its own kind of thing, but you then had the 3D era, which just built upon the previous games rather than rebooting everything. The only time we got a true reboot, in like for the main time we got it, was MK9, and that sort of made sense. We all just accepted that Raiden was able to tell his past self. It was just like, oh, magic. He's a god. Fair enough. But the way they went about it was cool, and then it was sort of retelling MK4, and I feel like that was also a great approach to handling how a previous story, but in a new way. And of course, as you're saying, we can't exactly do this every single time. How many times can we do this? You need to reinvent the wheel, as you said. Hello, everyone. I thought that comment.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I thought the MrMidniteOwl will be the only guest, but here is the true underdog MK character, Hatred 2. You successfully distracted me.
I saw that comment too, though. And earlier, like, the name Kratos was funny because someone was saying like a good reboot idea. It's like, I want a Mortal Kombat timeline where Scorpion kills his own family, Kratos style. So it's like an accident, and it's like revealed that he did it. I'm like, dude, that'd be kind of twisted and awesome.
That would be interesting, actually.
One of the things I had brought up before, I don't know if the writers would be this smart to do it, but approaching it from the one thing that could do with this idea that Liu Kang is consistent around with the timeline. If he gets rid of Shang Tsung, if he gets rid of Shao Kahn, if he gets Rock, think of all the realms they conquered. They could not have just conquered peaceful realms like Edenia. Imagine what happened if Khan had actually conquered other realms in their infancy before their evil could flourish. Now, in the modern day, you have suddenly these new realms that are popping up that were once Outworld, and now they have become even greater threats because they were allowed to thrive and grow more powerful. You can really create some really cool drama. Everything should have drama and tension. But this idea that Liu Kang laments some of his decisions in undoing certain things. Sometimes someone as evil as Shang Tsung is actually the lesser evil.
Yeah, could be an interesting concept. I also hate the idea, though, of Shao Kahn being erased. I like to imagine he can, like, will himself into existence because he's such an iconic, like, Mortal Kombat character. Shang Tsung is too, but he's, like, legit the underling to Shao Kahn. So Shao Kahn just being gone makes me sad. I want him to be playable in every game. And also the fact would be interesting, too, about Liu Kang doing the whole time warping and messing around with the timelines thing is we see in one of the endings, which I still wish was the canon ending. I kind of low-key hate that Aftermath changed it. In the goodest ending, he's like with Katana, even though like she's not even been created yet by like regular events. Like he pulled her out of the timeline somehow, and she's there with him like at the dawn of existence. And like so, Liu Kang can do that. So that would be an interesting moral stipulation too. It's like Liu Kang's kind of cheating because what if the events that he changes stops Katana from being born, and that's why he took Katana from the original timeline just so he could have her like selfishly. But then on the flip side, there's so many people that don't get to live now because of what he's done. Imagine how many people don't meet because the realms weren't merged in certain ways and like don't have kids together and stuff. So like he's erased theoretically billions of people from like history.
The Combat Kids. Jackie.
No, so here's my thing. I didn't mind introducing
the one thing that I gotta say.
I'll let Brand go. Go ahead, Brand.
The one thing I do have to say, just
You're
because I want to poke
so you can talk.
fun at things, there's a lot of. Okay, my apologies. The one thing that I do got to poke fun at is all the supposed leaks that are coming out that even Ed Boon is saying is the idea that there's the next game going to be a prequel that takes place during the Conquest series is laughable at best because I don't see NetherRealm Studios getting rid of their cash cow characters. Like, you're telling me that they're not going to have like half the roster of worth of characters, and it's going to be all these random characters that are longer lived. Like, you're not going to have Johnny Cage. You're not going to have so like you're not going to have the Cyborgs. I think people are almost at the need for them to be included as playable characters. You know, it's whatever NetherRealm Studios does. Well, I think they will embrace. I don't think they're going to do anything.
Oh, they took him. The ether took him. I was worried. Like he was descending into the lag realm, and then it pulled him away.
And on a cliffhanger too. What was he going to say?
That was the plan. He was like building up to it, then he's like dab, and just left, and that was the whole point of like
erased from existence.
Let's take this moment then. I want to take this moment then to actually shout out. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but I'm a big fan of his work. Morx Designs makes some really, really cool masks. If you haven't checked them out, at Morx Designs on Instagram. Seriously cool masks. Good to see you in the chat, man.
Nice. Very cool.
All right, so Bran might be back. Bran, if you are back and you want to continue, go ahead and talk, and we'll just stop. But I don't know how bad the lag is right now for MrMidniteOwl. I mean, we're kind of venturing into the. He's gone again.
He tried.
Well, so we're kind of venturing into the movies a little bit. So, maybe we should kind of talk about some Mortal Kombat movie news that has come out just in the last couple days, actually.
Oh, yes, please enlighten me. I didn't know any of that stuff. I love the movie news.
All right. So, Mortal Kombat 2 star Lewis Tan breaks silence on insane sequel. Movie exclusive from comic book, or what is it, cbr.com or something like that. Comicbook.com, sorry.
Comic book, yeah.
Yeah. So, in this recent thing that he's released, he has been he goes in and talks about how he's been training his ass off for this movie, which so I guess we're definitely getting Lewis Tan.
Good.
And then along with it, let me pull up the excerpt here. He says it impacts a lot, but not really us in particular, because New Line is the studio that is under the branch of Warner Brothers. Tan explained in our interview, which you can check out above. But they're very happy with the movie, and obviously it performed really well. It's one of the most viewed films of their Warner Brothers slate, even though it came out at the worst time ever possible. Talking about Mortal Kombat 2020 during the pandemic. Let's see, but no, we're full stream ahead, and now we have Ed Boon with us as well, so we got the stamp of approval from the legend himself. Number 2 is just going to be absolutely insane, way bigger. And so that's kind of what Brand was talking about, how Ed Boon is taking a more creative role in the Mortal Kombat movie and everything else Mortal Kombat related. And this was confirmed on our last Soul Stream too, when we were talking with Jeremy Adams, the writer for Snowblind, because he said he sat down with Ed Boon and Dominique and just kind of fleshed out all these different things and ran his crazy ideas by them, and they're like, yeah, go for it. So
it's worth noting that this interview was this answer was in response to the whole Warner Bros. Discovery merger. So it's good to know that despite this, Ed Boon is actually being raised in terms of positioning with this. Now, if you'll notice, with the first movie, we talked about this, I think, FANTiM. Ed Boon was not very, very vocal about it. He barely advertised it. The only post I remember him actually saying, "Welcome back, Bran," was that it was performing well or something. But now we're seeing actual tweets between both Todd Garner and Ed Boon. So that gives me a lot of hope, despite the "oh please no" response.
So
Yep,
yeah,
I'm back.
there's
Not sure for how long.
along with that article too.
This
let's see.
internet is killing me.
Unfortunate.
So Jeremy Slater talks about in this interview also. It says, "I feel like the gore in Mortal Kombat is awesome, and as part of what people come for, you always have to find." Oh my gosh, I'm doing horribly reading. I sound like Brandon's internet. It's part of what people come for. You always have to find that balance between fun gore and gross gore, right? Because there's times when you rip someone's heart out rip someone's heart off, or the best kill in the first movie is Kung Lao's spinning hat, just sort of slicing her in half, and that's a perfect example of fun gore because it's disgusting. But everyone laughs at that same time, right? You want to make sure that everyone is sort of laughing at the sort of audacity of the gore, and they're not sitting there sort of sickened by close-ups of dripping entrails, visceral, and things like that. So I think it's safe to say that they're leaning into a gore-heavy movie again, which, Yanni, I kind of want to hear what you have to say about that.
Well, okay, we all like the gore of Mortal Kombat. That's something that all Mortal Kombat fans kind of agree on. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that the gore is the main aspect of Mortal Kombat that should be featured. Gore is a part of Mortal Kombat, but Mortal Kombat is so much more than that. It's the characters. It's how the characters interact with one another. It's the plot line. It's how the plot line is furthered because of those characters and how they interact with one another. It's the combat. It's the bone breaking, the gut wrenching stuff, like it's all that coming together. It's not just the gore. If you just have fatalities in there, and I'm not saying it was badly choreographed, the first movie, but I'm just saying if you do have only fights where somebody's knocking somebody's face off, it's like, okay, cool, it happened. That's great for a moment, but it can sort of cheapen it if you just do it over and over and over. And I don't think that Jeremy Slater is going to go that route. I'm fully convinced he's a great writer, especially after Moon Knight. I was so happy with Moon Knight. So I'm very excited to see what we're going to get with Jeremy Slater.
I think that's what he's getting at.
Oh, yep. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's what he's getting at is I know what he means by like mean-spirited violence and gore. That was one of the things that turned me off of Punisher Warzone and even the Punisher Netflix series. But you look at it in like the Daredevil season 2 when they introduced the Punisher, it was actually a lot better. It felt more fun when he was killing bad guys, as opposed to what they did in the actual Punisher show. That just felt mean-spirited most of the time. And definitely the Punisher Warzone movie was way over the top. And it kind of feels like the violence isn't warranted. I don't think the first MK movie had that issue. I feel like a lot of the gore was warranted. So I can understand that he wants to make it violent, but fun, as opposed to just, I don't know, mean-spirited.
Talking about me. That's how they killed off my boy Kung Lao in Battle of the Realms. That was a mean-spirited death. With his own weapon.
Yes,
awful.
That is definitely, that was mean-spirited.
The only thing more traumatizing than that was
how he
that
died in
series.
The live-action movie wasn't as bad.
No. It's just funny, because like if you watch like all the different cuts and stuff during that scene, it's really funny. There's so many cuts.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the people that feels like they need to start with a story that doesn't have gore and then introduce it. Like, because you look at how many fans idolized the 1995 movie. And yes, there's kind of fatalities in it, but they're not over the top.
I think what makes that film so successful is like the feeling of kinship between everybody. They need to pull that off again. Like have all the characters feel like they just go on a lunch together and be like buddies and just hanging out. That wasn't quite achieved in the 2020, I feel like. It seemed like some of them just genuinely didn't know or care about each other. And that's like the main issue, I think. I want like the actual camaraderie.
It's a fun action movie.
It's sad that my theory's out the window, though, because I said that that actor who plays Cole Young is training his ass off. That throws a wrench in my theory. I was hoping that they would open up the next movie Deadly Alliance style, but instead, like Quan Chi and Shang Tsung gang up on Cole Young and kill him at the very start of the film, and you're just like, it's kind of because it would kill two birds with one stone.
It could still happen.
I really don't want them. I really don't want them that. I really don't want them to do that. That's like one of those mean-spirited things where they say, like, you introduce this character, live with it.
No, I agree. Should I respond to the chat real quick? The guy's like asking about a video. So he didn't like my dumbest characters video. It makes fun of like the redundant characters and stuff in Mortal Kombat. And it has Draman and Moloch in the thumbnail. I can't recall if I do mention them in the video, but I'm not sure if they're an honorable mention or not. Sometimes I include honorable mentions in the thumbnail because their faces are just more clickable. But for Reiko, for example, I don't think Reiko is a terrible character, but he really does seem like a Diet Coke Shao Kahn. Even a lot of his moves are like Diet Coke Shao Kahn, right? So that's my issue with that. He's a redundant character. And it's the same way I felt about Serena. Serena has so much potential, but they just make her another fire character. And that's
Agreed.
Like, there's so many fire characters. And she throws daggers. She's like Kano, but she can use fire. Not lore-wise, but gameplay-wise. They should just lean really hard into the demon aspect.
Yes.
And have her actually shift into a demon, like as one of her modes or something. It'd be super sick. So, I guess Dumb was a intentionally incendiary title, for sure. Meant to get people angry. They click on it, they hate click, then they enjoy the video because it's good entertainment. But I think more they're not fleshed out enough characters. They're just not solid. But every Mortal Kombat character could be redeemed, and I'm always a hypocrite because if they were a playable character in Onslaught, I'd be super hype. I'd be like, yo, get Serena on my team, get Drummond on my team. I want to roll the stupidest characters on my team and just main them.
I've got to say, just I'm taking all these Serena insults just straight to heart. She's like my favorite. No, but you make a very good point. Like with Onslaught, you bring in these characters who are, let's just say, lesser known, even though, for example, Serena, Dramin, they've been requested many times. I just hit my mic many times over the past couple of games, and we've not gotten them, and it's such a shame because, for example, Serena was actually the top requested female character in X, as far as I remember.
Yep.
Dramin, everybody was asking for him for MK11 until the whole leaked DLC, and then suddenly everybody wanted Sindel. It's funny how that always works. But you're right in the sense that they just need to find the right sort of direction to take a character in, and then place them into the game in some fashion where people can actually become accustomed to that character and learn about them. Only by doing that will you get people to actually think, oh, this character's cool, I want to play them, they're now my main, or they're a character that I want to learn more about, etc., etc. You're totally right.
The only character I feel the opposite for is Moloch. The second that he was talking in the Scorpion's Revenge movie, I was like, no, Moloch's supposed to be a dumb howling monster that's like permanently chained to a giant cement ball for some reason. That's what I want. Like, I want Moloch to be stupid and like just big, dumb, scary monster who's really tough. But otherwise, they need to be a bit more fleshed out, and a bit more going on for them, a bit more unique.
Yeah, no, for sure, and it's good to see that. Like, it's not just Serena, Nitara, Ashura, as you're saying, Shred Gaming. They have so much potential, and it's such a shame to not see them. Actually, funny enough, those three were very highly requested for MK11. I remember all three. Everybody was saying we'd love to see these characters. And then instead we got guests.
I'm so shocked that they made it into the movie. Like the Snowblind, like Draman's just there. There's no build up. He's just one of the goons in the end, and it's so funny to me. I was like, wait. And then Dairo with the brief like 3-second cameo was probably the most cameo I've ever seen. Yeah. I had to explain to my friends what was happening there. He was like, wait, did Scorpion teleport in Dairo? And I'm like, no, Dairo can teleport. People forget because he's such a non-popular character, but Dairo can teleport. He just switches places with the enemy, so it's a very unique kind of teleport. But he's the one doing that. Like, he's the one causing you to switch places. So Dairo can definitely teleport.
It would be so cool to see these guys being added to Onslaught in some way. I mean,
everyone loves redemption.
Look at Fujin. Honestly, we didn't get Fujin since Armageddon, and which I suppose is like, okay, fine. It was just MK9 and MK versus DC in between then. But everybody was begging for Fujin and MKX when they saw him in the cinematics, in the trailer, not the trailer, the story mode. And then when we got him in MK11, like, he was absolutely amazing. And we actually have him now in Onslaught too. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Fujin's in MK Onslaught, and he's pretty cool.
I had a feeling that pretty much every MK11 character they could shove in there would be in there. Like, I would not be shocked if Joker is a secret character you can play as like, somehow. You can just get him. I would not be surprised.
You say that, but I have a feeling that it won't work out that way for a while, or at least with certain MK11 guests or even past guests. Because one thing that FANTiM and I have noticed is that certain characters' face models are actually completely different from MK11's, and that is most likely to do with rights.
So we got Coma asking in the chat, what is Onslaught? So for those who are a little bit late to the game today, Onslaught is Mortal Kombat's new mobile game, which had basically a beta version kind of leak, and we've been discussing that today, a bit of the story mode and some of the games and stuff like that, gameplay. And for anybody who's watching right now and you want to join the chat, come over to YouTube or Twitch or wherever you can interact with us, and you can show up here with us and talk with us. Let's see. So looks like MrMidniteOwl did drop, but he left us a little message, guys.
He's in the chat. Yeah, I saw him.
You're being a trooper. You tried, but it's okay. Next time.
All right. So I don't know. Should we keep talking about Onslaught? Because there's a lot to go into with it, and I don't want to spoil everything, but it's interesting. So what do you guys think?
Says I'm not your bro. I saw that clip, like to Johnny Cage. I'm not your bro.
Well, what does everybody want? Do you want more Onslaught discussions, or would you like to get into some movie talk, or move on? I'm curious to hear what people are feeling.
Yeah, we
I have
got
a
quite a
feeling
bit
it's Onslaught.
more to go through today too. So if people are done with Onslaught talk, we can keep going.
We'll wait for one comment.
I just want them to add my fan-made character, my OC, to Onslaught, which is like a clever combination of two characters because everyone like doesn't like Jackie that much. I love playing her, and I think she could be redeemed. But like, there's a meme that Jackie is the most like mediocre of the new characters because she's just Jax, like 100%. So
Yanni
my
hates her.
idea was that for like the sequel, you just combine her with Takeda via their kid, and she's a time traveler and joins them in the fight. So she has like
Oh,
Takeda's
no.
abilities, but she's like looks like half of them, like she's mixed. So she's like still Jackie, like they still have the diversity they want, but it's like she plays different and she's more unique and original. And she has that cool time travel aspect. But that was one of my fun like OC characters, and I was like, I fixed it. I solved the problem. You can still have a Jackie-esque character, but she's original, and I combined her with everyone's favorite, which is Takeda. So now they have to love her.
But it means that we have to give up Takeda. It's a great idea, but
Yeah.
I don't want to lose Takeda. He
Takeda's
was
too
such
good.
like I hate the combat kids as a whole, like as an idea, especially Jackie. Jackie for me is literally my most hated Mortal Kombat character. I would prefer Su Hao. I believe that Su Hao can be redeemed. Jackie cannot, in my opinion, at least based on how they've taken her the past couple of games. And I spoke in the past about how they clearly went for as commercial a route as possible with her, with MK11 giving her the whole MMA thing. I'm not a fan. I'm really not. Jataki.
I was laughing at that too. Jataki.
Give us
That's how kids' names
Jataka.
work. Is that how kids' names work? You just combine the two names. Thank God not. I don't know how you could combine Natalie and William together to make my horrific name. Nat William.
So, earlier, MrMidniteOwl was talking about there's only so much you can do with a character, and that's why they've kind of ventured off and started doing like multiple timelines and stuff like that, so we can get new stories with these characters. I'm not a big fan of the combat kids except for Takeda, but I would like to see that expanded on. I mean, do new characters, like, I don't know, make a new offspring of Scorpion who actually has Scorpion's power and doesn't mess up with our lore. I mean, give us a Cole Young Scorpion in the sense that it's an interesting character, and I would be down for it if Cole Young was interesting. So I don't mind new characters being introduced. I don't mind following new characters. I mean, a lot of the rosters in the newer games that they've been bringing back are newer characters. I mean, we don't have the Mortal Kombat 1 characters anymore. They're kind of sprinkled in there, but nobody plays as Sonya. I mean,
Oh, I get you.
yeah, like that
was pretty much fair. She was really god tier in MK11, but that's the main reason people played as her. Is she was like top 2 when the game first came out. So like at tournaments, all Sonya, but it was not because they're a huge fan of her. Unfortunately, not. No, maybe if they leaned super hard into the bizarre yoga aspect of her character, like how she's wearing like 80s workout attire in the first game. If they like leaned into that somehow, maybe she'd be more unique and not just like literally military. The character,
Yeah,
because
I used to love her.
But Jax has the funny like get some and like grab them and stuff, so it's like it's kind of goofy and silly. Give Sonya another catchphrase, but it's got to be better than combat time, like it was in that cartoon show. Combat time, it just sprints in. That threw me off. I never knew about that, so when I saw that clip, I was so taken aback by how different she was in that show.
You need to watch the show. It's actually
I do want to watch it. Cabal was very interesting in there when I saw clips of him. Like they made him a tragic character and it was done super well.
Oh yeah.
I'm all for new characters too. And I like one thing about NetherRealm that I love. They get a lot of hate. I love they keep making new monster characters in each game.
Yes.
Because you can kind of consider Meat and Drama a monster character, but they're just humans. Like they're humanoid, right?
Yes.
Collector is a monster. Like Ferritor is like a monster. Devora is a monster. So
man,
I like the new monster
Collector
types.
gets so much hate, and in my opinion, Collector was the best new character we've had since Takeda. He perfectly embodied Mortal Kombat, in my opinion, and his trailer was so badass. For me, from MK11 of the new entries, I felt like Garrus and even Cetrion were quite uninspired in comparison to the other characters that we've gotten in the past. But I'm actually, for now, against, not as a whole, but I'm against new characters, not in the sense that I don't want any new characters, but I feel like we have so many missing characters from the previous entries who deserve to make a comeback. So maybe make one or two, but throw some older characters back in and redo them, like completely re-envisage how, for example, as you were saying with Serena, give us like some demon form with her, some demon abilities. Give us even Jataka or Kaya, like it would be interesting to see characters who could technically count as new, but actually aren't in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. 100%. That's the way I feel about guest characters. People think that I hate guest characters. I don't. I just would always prefer a returning character that's like not been in the spotlight for a while.
Yeah.
Spawn is really cool. I love Spawn. I have a lot of the comics. I've watched the films. I would prefer Havoc. Just being honest. Like I love Spawn. Rather have Havoc. Joker was I don't hate Joker because at the very least he was completely different. He was not just copy and pasted from Injustice. But man, I would have preferred anybody else from the 3D era. Like,
100%.
You could have given me Lee May, and I would have been more excited than I was for Joker.
Oh, I like seeing Lee May in Mortal Kombat X. I was like, there she is.
As the worst, like some random refugee who can't fight.
Yeah, but the worst lighting too. Her outfit is actually purple, black, and like pink, but you can't tell because it's the grossest like green. Yeah, it's the grossest green tinted light pointed at her, and it washes her out. And the concept art was kind of cool too. I like the concept art. It had the same kind of problem that MKX had, where like they're all stuck in the medieval era, so the outfits looked they all kind of blurred together. They all looked very similar, but it was still like you could tell it was Lee May with the colors. But when you see the cutscene, like if you had the sound turned off, that's not Lee May. Like, you can't tell who that is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And they seemed to age her too, it seemed. Or maybe that was just Mortal Kombat X graphics.
They did age her, but everyone has squishy face in MKX. Like they're thinned out. Which is the opposite problem of 11, but you don't notice it too bad. But all the face models are skinnier than the in-game version of like their faces in 11. They're all a bit wider. And I'm wondering if motion capture just does that or something, because it's so consistent. Like they're all consistently wider. Like someone went into Photoshop and went just a little bit, just pulled their faces out. It's kind of funny.
What do you guys think about the graphics in Onslaught so far?
I think it's fine for a mobile game. I mean, they kind of just, I imagine they downscaled a lot of the models, and that's pretty much what they did, if I had to guess. Like somebody went in and they went into edge mode and deleted edge loops to remove some of the complexity of the character models. They probably took off the bump maps and just left in the regular normal map interface. But I imagine they didn't build it from scratch because they're too close to the MK11 costumes. And
and they're using literal variations from the games as well.
Somebody in the Mortal Kombat group pointed out that it's basically Switch graphics, and I've never heard a more accurate description, because Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch, it plays okay, but the graphics are like, they look mobile, and it's almost the exact same thing when you compare the two.
It is mobile technically. You can take it with you. It's just not on your mobile phone, but it's a mobile game. That game was so funny when I played it with my friends, because I didn't have time to download the day one patch. I just we played it as is without any updates offline, and it was so broken and busted. It was hilarious. Yeah, like if you did Jade's X-ray or her Fatal Blow, excuse me, the same move, but they changed the name. If you do Jade's Fatal Blow, the camera moves to the wrong spot and you can't see anything. It just goes into the floor, and you just hear all the crunching and breaking, but nothing's happening. And then when it's
so
over,
brutal that you cannot see it.
Yeah, it's like staring at an angel. You can't look at it. It would be too much for you to fathom and comprehend.
I'd like to back you up here, by the way, True Underdog. I am somebody who personally hates guest characters. I really do not like guest characters. But I think that once in a while we get a really, really cool guest character who actually does fit Mortal Kombat. So personally, if I could remove them, even though I like them so much, Alien, Predator, Spawn, I would take Havoc over them, for example, 100%. I would take Human Smoke even. Because I say even because he's already been in the latest game, in MK9 rather, in the latest trilogy. But there are other characters who I would prefer get their time in the spotlight. But those are some amazing characters. And then there are other characters who I would actually really appreciate seeing in the Mortal Kombat universe, at least in terms of gameplay wise, like Alex Mercer, Prototype. I've always felt he would be perfect in Mortal Kombat. But if you're to tell me that he would take the spot of a Mortal Kombat character, hell no. No. Yeah. But we all know that guest characters are coming no matter what we say. So all I can really say is there are some characters who I feel fit more than others, and I don't mind them. I just wish they didn't take the spot of a Mortal Kombat character.
Same. Agreed.
Yeah.
Unless you get the Holy Grail, but I can't think of any character. Like Spawn, I guess, would be that. But even then, I wasn't like... I was hyped, but the way he played, I didn't like it immediately the way he played. But I've learned to like him the more I watch people play him and learned like how you actually utilize him as like a mid-space character. There's only been a couple of Holy Grail DLCs for fighting games where I'm like, best choice, and I'm glad it was a guest character. Like 2B in Soul Calibur 6 I thought was fantastic because fans had wanted it for forever. And it's the same with Spawn. But just keep it like 1 or 2 NetherRealm. Like I know you're gonna put him in there. I know you're gonna put him in. Just make it like 1 or 2. And I know why they do it. I didn't realize until someone pointed out in my comment section. It's because guest characters are the most likely to get someone to buy the game that hasn't already. Yeah. Because they like that character. But even then, it's kind of like Rambo was an odd choice. You got to really have a niche market there because you need someone who's like as old as my dad, but also like keeps up with video games to know that he even came out.
One of my best friends actually was the perfect example of that. Of all the characters that he bought Mortal Kombat 11 for, it was for Rambo. And I was like, really?
I hope he enjoyed himself. I hope he had a good time.
Yeah, no, he was really happy with it.
Just do the leopard crawl. Just crawling all down.
No, he was doing quotes the entire time on the floor as well.
That's great. Rambo. I still can't believe he made it.
we had there's a friend of ours who used to mod the MK group with us on Facebook, and he was insisting that Rambo was coming. And FANTiM was always the entire time, I will eat my hat if Rambo makes it in. There's no way he's making it in. At the end, he's like,
a year.
I'm so sorry.
Like my buddy Brusque Poet, like he kept denying Melina being in the game because there's so many hints that she wouldn't be in. And to be fair, he made a pretty educated guess based on what you got in the game, and also how in the like arcade endings she didn't have a redesign or anything. So it seemed like she definitely wasn't going to be DLC. And so he had that very infamous quote where he goes, "Okay, guys, tell you what, I'll make an OnlyFans if Melina is in Mortal Kombat 11," because they kept asking for the OnlyFans also. So he's like, "Okay, fine, if Melina ends up." And so to this day, I've always wanted to like draw some hilarious fan art of that situation of him like trying to get a correct pose in the mirror with his phone out and be like, "God damn it, fucking Melina, you gotta do this for the OnlyFans." But I haven't had time to draw it.
What I did find interesting about that actually is that you're right. It was an educated guess because all the signs pointed to the fact that Melina was not going to make it in. And same thing with Rain. And Rain, Smoke, and Serena are my favorite characters. So I was so sad, like heartbroken when I thought Rain's not going to make it in. But one thing that was made very clear when they were all announced was that they specifically put them in the game because of the fan demand. And I don't want to say demand because I don't want people to feel entitled in the way that they ask for, like, there was a lot of, the whole stereotype, oh, Melina stands, blah, blah, blah. Like, Melina fans, I get it. You want your character. Like, I get it. But there's a way to go about it. And I think that, well, I don't think that it was actually said. It was stated. They put Melina in, they put Rain in because so many people were asking for them. And I think that's actually great of NRS to do.
I think so too. By the way, anyone watching, death threats are not okay. Okay, there's a cultured way to go about getting people to add the characters that you want for DLC. You just constantly send them Rule 34 art of the character until they get the message, and then they'll add them to the game. That's all you had to do. How could Ed Boon say no if you keep sending him naked monster mommy images over and over again? Like, you gotta... that's how you have to do it.
I did not see that going there. You had me. I was like, yeah, guys, listen to... Oh, wait, what?
your first red flag should have been me saying the word cultured, because it's almost like always is ironic. Like the cultured response, as men of culture, here's what you do, okay, to get Monster Mommy in the game. Here's what you do. You just send them all the Rule 34 art. Yeah. It was partially in reference to that Nier Automata joke that happened in an interview. I don't know if y'all know about that or not.
Yes.
But you know about it? Do you know about it also or not?
How he's saying, like, is that where you're going?
Yeah. So basically, the creator of Nier Automata is a very, very funny character in general. Like, he's very introverted. But someone asked him in an interview, like, are you aware of all, like, the inappropriate art people have made of 2B, like, your character? And he goes, I am aware. And she goes, do you have anything to say to those people? And he's like, yes, my DMs are open. Please, like, if you could put it all in a zip file and just send me all of it, I would love to take my time just looking at all of it.
I think he literally posted a link, by the way. He posted a full-on Google Drive link or something.
Yeah, someone
with
finally
like
gave
a million
it to him.
pictures.
And his response was so perfect. He just went, the internet is an amazing place, or something like that. And he was like just so happy. It's true. I mean, before internet, he would have had to receive that crap in the mail, like little by little. You have to like send him like your photocopied like drawings. But yeah, sorry for that like big segue. I tried to keep it as fast as possible, but I just think it's so funny. Spam the creators' porn art of their favorite character is what I'm saying. It's the only cultured response to get your character in. If you want Serena in, you know what you got to do. All you guys in the chat got to learn to draw. Guys and gals got to learn to draw and just send in your lewd fan art to varying degrees. And I'm sure it'll give Ed Boon the message.
How much?
They'll definitely get a message.
Yeah. Let's move on into video game news. So this is something that we kind of want to brand on here to talk about a little bit too. Unfortunately, his internet wasn't holding up, but Mortal Kombat's site has been releasing a series of advertisement posters. I don't know, what do you call this?
I'd say like sort of credit posts in a way, where they're kind of talking about the previous games. But I think I know where you're going with this. It looks like. Yeah,
well, so they started with one. They've also done Mortal Kombat 2, and I'll pull up Mortal Kombat
I just
3.
love that potentially sensitive material. It's Mortal Kombat. Like
Baraka doing his little Baraka pose. Like, what's going on?
It's not even the loincloth outfit.
It's because I guess Baraka is just too sexual. Like, he's too hot. Like, you can't. In November of all times, you're going to give me Baraka. You can't do that. We're trying to survive out here.
Loincloth.
I'm jealous
Baraka.
of all these high kicks that everyone can do. Even Kano out here with like the high kick.
Yeah, really.
My man Raiden doing the generic little pose that like 90% of the cast did.
They pixelized Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat 4. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Like, this is a more pixelized version of this. But okay, so they've been releasing these. There's a lot of speculation online. And Brandon, something that kind of brought this to our attention. This could be a countdown. I personally don't see it. However, there is a big majority of Mortal Kombat fans that are saying this is counting down to something. We're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going to go all the way up to 11, and then maybe an announcement.
That's what I think.
I do think in December they want to do something. I'm not sure if they'll be ready, but I really do think they want to reveal something before the next year starts. That's my gut.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of waiting for Brandon to comment on the chat so we can throw it up here on his thoughts on this. But the consensus from what I've heard is that there's a possibility that December 8th there is a big award show coming up. You guys might have heard about it.
What? No.
Yeah.
You couldn't possibly mean. Yeah.
So the Video Game Awards, December 8th. People are speculating that we are going to get a new game announcement. Brand says it feels like a countdown.
It does.
It kind of does. I think, I was looking at the dates of these. So the first one was October 11th. Next one was October 13th. So like 2 days later. Then there was October 21st and November 8th. There's not been consistency to it, but maybe they're behind because they got behind on the game, and maybe this was planned for much earlier. Is kind of the thought here.
I'm actually loving this marketing strategy, like going up with the games and getting closer to the date. Because I don't think it matters if they're like in order. I think what matters is they're just getting closer to the December 8th like date. So they're just like approaching it and getting closer. That's really, really clever. I like that. I still think my idea would have been better to just show like Reptile's nipple. Just like just MK12 logo like right next to it. Like,
I saw that tweet that you made today. It doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah. So that was like a meme that I made on the podcast, or no, it was in another video. Yeah, I said that NetherRealm always has to reveal things all at once. They never like drip feed you like some companies do. So some fighting games will just show like the character's pose and be like the like coming soon or whatever, right? To tease you and make you know something's coming. NetherRealm will legit not tell you something's coming until they show you like a full-on trailer, right? Same with like MKX, MK9, all that. And I was joking, like, dude, they could just show a low-res Reptile's nipple and people will get hype, but they don't give us anything. Like, people would be super excited though. Like, they would love that if they could just show like just a little image or a silhouette of a character and just put like the word "coming" with the K. Like coming soon, or like something like that. It'd be great. That's the problem with verbally saying something. I see where your minds all went.
With a K.
With a K. Oh no.
For combat.
Yes.
Not forthcoming.
Have y'all seen the theory? Like, real quick, minor 10-second segue. So because Collector is named by Shao Kahn for like his job, and it's spelled with the K, there is that meme that like the K's are there because Shao Kahn doesn't know how to spell, and he's the one that named all that stuff, and that's why it's a K for like all the C words. So that was pretty funny.
Here's Brandon's theory.
Okay, here we go. My theory was that Boone would be giving. Sorry, Yanni, go ahead and read it because
My thoughts
too quickly.
Yes, my theory was that Boone would give trolling posts during the 30th, then drop a lackluster piece of info, Onslaught, and let fans get angry. Then, not long after, drop MK12.
Which, I mean, that could possibly happen because quite a few people were angry about Onslaught, and we're still seeing a lot of hate messages pop up. But it's Mortal Kombat content, so I'm kind of excited, even though I hate freemium games.
Oh god, could you imagine if what we get at the Game Awards is like the worst reveal possible, where it's like it shows Onslaught gameplay and it says when Onslaught like drops in January 2023, beat the game and get the reveal for our next project, and then it just ends, and that's all they do, and it's like
I can stop you right there. It's not going to be beat the game. It's going to be pre-order the Founders Pack to get a teaser of the next game or something.
Yeah, buy 600 time crystals, and we'll show you a nipple of reptile.
I don't think people appreciate the cleverness of that joke. Is that Reptile is a lizard and they don't have mammaries, so like he wouldn't have nipples. That's why it's so funny. Because like
you say that, but now here we're going kind of like all into this discussion. Chameleon has a human form.
Yeah.
Reptile has a human form. Mm-hmm. They technically, in their human forms, have nipples. So
you're not wrong. Damn it. You're like 100% wrong. Because for some reason, it's actually in the lore that the longer they're separated from like the queen, they become more humanoid, which is the other way.
No, other way around.
Reptile.
Yeah,
that makes less sense though. But yeah, you're right. It's the other way around. They become more like a different species the more time they're around their own queen of their species. Yes, that makes sense. That would be like if I approached like the Queen of England, rest in peace. If I approached her and it made me look more reptilian. That's like what they're doing pretty much for some reason. But yeah, sorry for descending it all into that. But you're right. They do have mammaries. No, you know what? It's still my headcanon. They don't know how to replicate the nipple, so they still don't have it. It's just a bare chest. It's like Mario before they added that one game where he has like actually like little circles for his nipples, and it was hilarious because it made him look more naked than he already like was, which is what would happen with Reptile too. If you gave Reptile nipples, he would look more naked than if he was just a lizard man.
Yeah. I know, but a smartphone game
real
that's
quick.
Been out. Oh, sorry.
So Onslaught has actually been announced for 2023. So that being said, it kind of leads me into my next point. Warner Brothers recently had, let me see, where is it? Their Warner Brothers Discovery's Q3 2022 earnings report kind of came out, and there were a few people that kind of listened in. This particular Twitter user, Luis Fernando, says, Yanni, you want to go ahead and read that?
WBD mentioned their big theatrical slate for 2023, including Shazam, Fury of the Gods, The Flash, Blue Beetle, Dune Part 2, Aquaman, I'm just going to skip through these, Wonka, Barbie. Also mentioned a new Harry Potter game for spring 2023, and a Mortal Kombat project celebrating 30 years.
They fucked up.
This is November 3.
They slipped up. They fucked up.
So, the question is this a new game going to be Mortal Kombat Onslaught, or is it a new 2023 game?
Well, remember Ed Boon's tweet. They have more than one pot on the stove. And I highly doubt that a team like NRS under WB or WB Discovery only has one team working on one mobile game. You have Mortal Kombat Mobile now. You have Injustice Mobile. You have Injustice 2. You have Mortal Kombat X. You have Mortal Kombat 11. You have Mortal Kombat Onslaught. There is no way that there's no other team working on something else for Mortal Kombat. It wouldn't make any sense for that to not be the case. I truly believe we will get something soon. To me, it just seems like there was supposed to be an announcement, and then they wanted to go with Onslaught for whatever reason instead. Maybe to not, overshadow Onslaught, because everybody. I mean, there's a comment here from Dexter, Soska, do you not have phones? This really does remind me of Blizzard. It does. Now, everybody knows about the whole Diablo Immortal fiasco.
Red shirt
I'm
man.
Yeah, red shirt man, yes, and Fluffy, Lord Fluffy. He's a Diablo. I'm a big Diablo fan as well, and they straight up called out Blizzard, and I like that they did. But at the same time, when Diablo Immortal dropped, the sad reality is that it actually was a great game in terms of gameplay. The problem was how predatory it was, and you can see by how much they made. So firstly, it's a no-brainer for a business to go for a decision like this, to go with the game. But the moment you advertise a mobile game, the entire fandom gets up in arms and is like, we don't want a mobile game, we want an actual game on proper platforms. And then everybody's angry, but at the same time, Onslaught's going to make money. And that's the main thing. So
I
why
will spend money on
overshadow
it.
it?
I'm just going to let y'all know, spoiler, I will spend money on it.
And fair play to you, you know, people are going to do it, regardless of whether or not I don't spend money. The two of you will, you know what I mean?
I've
And there
already
will
tried.
be others.
That's what they
On
do. That's,
beta.
that's how they make money, actually. It's with whales. That's
It's
how
with
mobile
whales.
games make money. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the sad part to me, because both Diablo Immortal and Onslaught feel like true evolution, like the true evolution of mobile gaming to me, because those games are actually good. But if they weren't so predatory, it would be so much better. But sadly, it's going to, well, I mean, I say this to be fair to WB and NRS. So far, Onslaught, you can't actually spend money, Timo. FANTiM tried.
I need more crystals.
But you can't do that. And to be fair, also it's in beta or alpha even. I'm not sure. But who knows what's going to happen later. The thing is, the point I'm trying to make here is that they don't want to advertise or announce Onslaught and immediately announced, say, Mortal Kombat 12 or Shaolin Monks or whatever the hell else it could be. You know what I mean? I'm hoping. But by doing that, Onslaught is lost in all the volume of the other games. Yeah. You don't want to do that. So it technically is a smart decision to not do that. And we do have, you know, the whole tradition of the Game Awards anyway. So I do believe that we do have a countdown. It's hopefully the Game Awards, but I do want to focus on what you said, FANTiM, about it being pixelized. This might not be a Mortal Kombat 12 announcement. For all we know, it could be a classic remaster or something.
Could be. I wish they would remaster the 3D games though, and not the pixel ones. Because didn't we already get something similar to that? Like they released they did release a console version of the first 3 games, didn't they? That you can play.
First 2, I think it was, wasn't it?
Okay, well,
3.
Far be it from me. Have y'all
the arcade pack or whatever?
Have y'all heard my harebrained theory for why I agree with you on this? That I think something bigger is coming. So the reason why I'm almost like 95% sure that we're getting another big game on top of Onslaught is because of how they revealed Onslaught just out of the blue, just a Twitter announcement and just art. That was it. That can't be their big game. Like they wouldn't just go that small with it. Like they were intentionally small with it so that we didn't think it was their big thing, you know?
It's so that we didn't have a "do you not have phones" moment. Straight up, that
was what actually did it too, man. That "do not have phones" was like the double nail in the coffin. Like the joke was a joke. It was an insensitive joke on purpose to like make fun of them. Like it's an out of season April Fool's joke. But then being like, what? You don't have phones? You guys don't have phones?
It was very,
everyone who worked on the game in that moment was like, shut up. I spent so much crunch making this game. I swear to God, if you flop it and people don't see my amazing masterpiece that I've worked so hard on because you made them angry. Yeah. But I'll spend money on like a shiny version of Chameleon and
don't give them ideas on here. Don't give them ideas.
Because that's the only way it's going to win. Like it will be overshadowed by MK12 inevitably unless they give us a reason to go to that game. And the only way they can do that is by having an expanded roster, which is something you can't do in a competitive fighting game unless you're like Smash. But I think for Smash, they copied over a lot of the people, I'm guessing, just like raised up their textures, if I had to guess, like with Smash Ultimate. But otherwise, you can't shove 100 characters into MK12. It's just not possible. But you know what you can do that in? Onslaught. You can put like every character that's ever been mentioned, even ones that haven't been playable. Add every Serena sister in there. I don't know their names. Sorry, I'm not that big of a lore fan. But throw them all in there.
There is another option Mortal Kombat Onslaught could be more related to the next Mortal Kombat game than we realize. And
Yes.
I mean, maybe it's supplemental material in a way. Like, oh, I wonder what happened there. I'm going to play Onslaught and spend a bunch of crystals and figure it out, you know?
Oh, it's like the prequel comics, but it's like you had to pay money on the game instead. Yeah.
Possibly.
Okay.
I don't know.
I still
Alright,
feel robbed
so-
that we never got that actual take on the follow-up to the comics.
Yeah, it's got some cool stuff in there.
Mm.
Like in theory, like there's going to be cool stuff in there, like Goro becoming Onaga, right? And I think explaining why Frost actually left the Lin Kuei.
Speaking of Frost, actually, I do want to focus on her as well, actually, because she is
Bet
in
you do.
Onslaught. And Lin Kuei Warrior has my heart.
We all love Frost. She's adorably, hilariously evil. It's funny to
Exactly.
watch her fail over and over again.
But she is in MK Onslaught, and she's actually still human.
They just took away the
And-
little cyborg parts on her arm that she has in the classic skin for MK11, right? I think.
Yeah, she's basically, she has the classic skin, and it's just, you don't have this sort of segmented design on her. And it's interesting because one of the things that I've always seen about when people are like, okay, I complain that she's cyberized. I don't like the approach to her. I wish that they kept her as Frost, the Frost that I know and love from the 3D era. And everybody says, well, if you had Frost in there and Sub-Zero, it wouldn't work because they're too similar. But then you have Sub-Zero and you have Frost in Onslaught. Frost is human, and she still has her MK11 abilities, just without the flying head. It's like, oh, they could have done it.
Yeah, I'm still laughing at how even though Frost is in the game, I still care more about random Lin Kuei soldier because she's just more adorable than Frost.
It's the skirt. It's the skirt.
It's the
And the
uniform.
hood.
Also,
It's a uniform, Yanni.
someone said that
Yes.
if you look closely, she is just straight up using Katana's mask, which is very possible. Like they reused an
Yeah.
asset and just gave her Katana's face model and mask, and probably even her body, but just gave her a Lin Kuei outfit. Yeah, and you're right. It's the skirt and the hoodie, but also the fact that I know she won't stab me in the back. That's kind of also very alluring. You know, Frost is just gonna do that. She can't not do it. It's her nature.
So you're saying that Frost is alluring, or the Lin Kuei Warrior is alluring?
The Lin Kuei warrior
want-
is
do you
alluring.
want the stab
'cause
in
she
the
won't
back?
stab
Ah,
me in the
okay,
back.
gotcha.
No, she won't. And that's what's alluring. She
That's
will
what you're
not.
into.
I do definitely like the toxic characters. I play Frost a lot, so I definitely play her. I play Juri in Street Fighter. I play Anna in Tekken and Melina in Mortal Kombat. So I do love the toxic women, but I'm picturing that like Drake meme where he's like saying no to one and yes to the other, and it's like no to Frost and then yes to like random Lin Kuei soldier. Yeah.
It's a brilliant meme. Somebody's got to make that.
I call dibs. I'm gonna post it.
Yeah.
I will reshare it. Full credit.
That's all my Twitter is just shit posting and just memes. That's all my Twitter is. So.
Let's see. We got a message. Nor Commas says, "What about Kano?" I'm guessing you're talking about in Onslaught, maybe.
Got his own movie. What do you mean? What about Kano? Got the greatest
What
glow up
about him?
ever. He got to be like the main villain, and it was great. And I hate Kano, and I loved it so
Yeah.
much.
That's exactly what I said in my review.
Oh, it was so funny. We were watching it live, and I just when Shang Tsung walks in the room, I was like, if what I think's gonna happen here happens, I'm gonna be laughing and excited the whole time because what an upset. But yeah, I don't want to spoil nothing. But I guess your chat's probably already knows about it and stuff because you've covered Snowblind, I'm guessing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't like Kano like for the most part. I get he's an OG, but he's to me somehow more boring than Sonya, and that's saying something
Agreed.
because she's just like Soldier Lady, but Kano was more boring to me.
Yeah.
And if anybody sat out, I'd be okay with Kano sitting out. But then he got his own movie, and I loved it, so I'm a huge hypocrite. King Kano for Mortal
Kano.
Kombat 12. Not even regular Kano, just King Kano version with his dumb Swiss Army knife arm.
That is the best description of his arm, actually.
Can do everything.
Yeah. Brand points out that Kano was the main draw of Mortal Kombat 2021. Also,
He
so
was, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, Kano
Uh,
was all over the place.
Kano
What about him?
Kano was he got the best, as you said, the biggest glow up. But then I don't want to say this in a way where it kind of brings down the other characters because, for example, Jota as Limit Sub-Zero, Hiroyuki Sanada as Scorpion, like wow, everybody did their part, but Kano really, really stuck out. He was amazing.
Well, I've always said that because Kano is like in the very first game and he is technically fighting for Earthrealm, if they tried to just like reboot the timeline again and just made him an anti-hero who's with the good guys and not a traitor in disguise, just make him like the darkest of the heroes who makes funny jokes like that, it would completely like be one of my favorite characters. Like I would like him a lot if they just made him that character instead. Have him lose a different limb in each game. He's like, oh god damn it, bug it. He's got like his eye in the first game goes away, in the second game he's got like a mechanical arm,
the sword knife.
Each game he like is more cyber eyes. He keeps getting hurt, but he's like, fuck it, gotta save the Earth realm. Shit, the things I do for these ladies, God.
You know, the traitor in disguise thing too. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Yanni. That kind of came about because of the '95 movie, didn't it?
Like the which part? Sorry.
Kano being a traitor to Earthrealm rather than you know, just the anti-hero thing.
I mean, you could argue like straight up from the first game, but at the same time, in a way, they didn't exactly have the full lore planned out, as we already know, right?
So you could argue first game.
Like, yeah.
His name is Japanese. Kano is not an Australian name. It kind of do sound like it though, to at least me, an American. It sounds like it could be an Australian name. Like, come on outside, Kano. Meet your friends.
He was initially English, wasn't he?
Australian.
Yeah.
Oh no.
In the first game, he was half
Japanese. Then half Japanese, half British, I think it was. And then they went with the Australian route because of the Mortal Kombat movie.
Well, because dumb Americans didn't know that was just a very posh English accent. We thought it was Australian because like most people are dumb. He was actually going for English in the movie too, but we just all thought he was Australian, so they just leaned into it and made him Australian. But he's supposed to be just very posh British in that movie. Hello, baby. Did you miss me?
It was, yeah. So what do we got next, FANTiM?
Let's talk about Combat for Rare. You know, we're not going to go too much into this because we're in talks of having them come on a future episode so they can kind of talk about it themselves more.
Surprise.
Yeah. But, you know, there are some things worth mentioning here. Yanni, do you want to take it or do you want me to go ahead and pull up some stuff?
Go for it. You can start us off. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just going to say, for those who aren't aware of Combat for Rare, I get the rhyme, they describe themselves on the website as a global gaming charity fundraising campaign to fight against rare diseases. So what they've been doing basically is trying to raise, fundraising. And it's actually started off with this because of a kid named Raiden who has something called UBA5 disease. So this charity was put together firstly for the kid, but then obviously has evolved in such a way for diseases which are not really known at all. That's why it's called Combat for Rare diseases. And it's actually really nice to see because this has actually been sort of embraced by the community to the point where, hold on one second, sorry. Every time. To the point where Ed Boon and John Tobias have been sharing it. And John Tobias has recently done a Combat for Rare drawing. I think it was of Raiden. No, was it Raiden?
Actually, I got it right here. I think he ended up doing Raiden, yeah. And this was posted by his son, wasn't it? Yeah, Johnny Tobias, young Tobias. Mm-hmm. Which is cool. Like, this is the first time, I think...
Where have you gone?
Tobias. Oh, did I lose me?
We lost you for a sec. I thought we were getting a brand number 2.
Oh.
Sorry, Brad.
So, as you can see in the caption, this is the first time John Tobias has actually drawn Raiden since the 90s, which I'm like, really? This is your thing. Why'd you stop drawing him? But yeah, it's pretty cool. They ended up auctioning this off in order to raise support for Combat for Rare, and ended up doing pretty well. Do you know how much it ended with, Yanni?
I don't know how much it ended with. I do know who won it though.
Who was that?
Uncaged Games.
That's right.
Sounds like something he would do. My boy.
And it's great because it was all for this cause and everything, and it was just nice to see as well, like how involved John Tobias or Ed Boon was as well. Yeah, that looks amazing, doesn't it?
That's cool. Mm-hmm. So,
do you know how much it was in the end, FANTiM?
I don't know the exact price of that one. Hold on, let me see if I got the
$1 million. It's got to be within Cage's price range for sure.
I think I think it ended up being around 1,000. Unfortunately, the auction wasn't able to go on internationally, so it ended up just being a United States only auction. And guess who was kind of going head to head with Uncaged?
Carrie Ann.
Yeah, that's
Caboose?
right.
Oh.
The original or Mortal Kombat 3 Sonya Blade was going up against Uncaged in this, and they had a bidding war. They were kind of like the last two to go for it, so that's pretty cool to see. You guys want to see if I can do audio on this? I don't know if that'll work, but this is just.
I think
John
Twitter
Brown.
works.
Hey there, I'm John Tobias, co-creator of Mortal Kombat. Thank you for tuning in to the Combat for Rare charity stream, and thank you for supporting this fight against rare diseases. By helping the Raiden Science Foundation in fundraising, we can accelerate research toward a treatment within the next few years. I'm joining the battle because it's a real fight to create a better future for kids suffering from rare diseases all around the world, especially the ones that we never hear about, like UBA5 that affect little 2-year-old Raiden fam. Raiden is the precious inspiration behind the entire Combat for Rare campaign, and he's certainly the inspiration for me to lend my support. As part of Combat for Rare Day, I'm creating an illustration of Mortal Kombat's Raiden. I don't get to illustrate these characters very often, and in fact, I don't think I've drawn Raiden in his MK1 costume in almost 30 years, so a chance to do so during Mortal Kombat's 30th anniversary for such a great cause was one that I couldn't pass up. The illustration is available for auction now, and 100% of the proceeds will go toward the Raiden Science Foundation. This is a one-of-a-kind piece of art, so good luck on bidding.
So, there it is. And yep, you put up a great fight, Carrie Ann, but it looks like today I'm the champion. Hope we can still be friends.
I want to see the actual back and forth between him and Carrie. It was actually quite funny.
Oh, I don't know. Do I got that? Is it on here? I'm gonna pull up.
Let me see if I can send it to you. Give me one sec. This should work for you.
Oh,
there you
is
go.
it
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll leave a link to where you guys can donate if you want to. We'll put it on Mortal Kombat Online. You can just get there quickly by going to realmkast.com. And if you guys want to donate, it's for a great cause. And we'll probably be bringing you more information on this later. There have also been a few other things that they've been auctioning off. Like Carlos Pacina has actually autographed and done his own drawings on this Iron Studios Raiden statue. This also was auctioned off. So from what we've heard, this isn't the end of the fundraising. So you guys will get a chance to also win some cool stuff or bid on some cool stuff to help support this cause. So
awesome.
Yeah, we'll have more
Underdog,
information.
you were saying you haven't seen much of Iron Studios. This Raiden piece is sick as well. So there's some really cool stuff you might want to check out from them.
Very cool. Yeah. I'm particularly biased towards the female combatants, so I'll see if they have any for them too.
I think they do, don't they, FANTiM?
I don't know. I don't buy them because I'm cheap.
I may have made the Sub-Zero one too, because like we're holding the skull. That might also be them.
Yeah,
but I'm
that
not
was
sure.
them.
Yeah,
that was
that's
them.
a really sick one. I like
I'm
that
pretty
one
sure
too.
they have a Sonya actually, and she's in her.
Oh,
remember
they
which
do.
outfit
They
it
have
is.
the great,
Yeah.
the really good Sonya. That's right.
I'm trying to find it now.
Yeah,
Send that over to
send
you.
that to me.
And by the way,
It's
Bran, I
really
agree.
cool.
Bran is saying like he prefers the simple costumes of MK 1 through 4. I think I like them as an option. Like I think that Sonya wearing her like yoga outfit from MK 1 and 2 and 3, but redesigned to look more like believable as a military outfit, kind of like how Captain America's outfit got redesigned in the film to look more military-esque, but it's still Captain America. I would love to see that for Sonya, but they've never done that. It's always been like 100% MK3 Sonya, or it's been 100% military. I want to see them try to like blend the two, and that'd be super cool, I think. Or just bring back customization. Let us do it.
This is MK3 Sonya, not MK1 as I thought it was initially. Passing that over to you now,
MK3 is better.
FANTiM. Yep.
Yeah,
I prefer the
design.
outfit for her in MK3.
But the best costume of all is definitely shirtless Raiden from Deadly Alliance. That's a really cool one, and it's like never come back.
Is that the one without where he's got the hat on his back rather than on his head?
Yeah, and he has the long hair like in the 1995 movie.
What about Raiden's Injustice look with that's really a shirtless Raiden?
the one that's
like,
just
with the
completely
weird
opened up.
nipple reveal. Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
that's a funny one. That was always a funny choice to me. I was more offended by the random gold on his outfit though than I was the nipples being there. Like I didn't like the random gold face mask that he had, and stuff was kind of weird to me.
That's
cool.
If
No, I like that.
ever any
That is an
gold added to
interesting
it, I'm
one.
happy.
Hey, it's that move that's not an MK11. I like that move. That's a good one.
I think Carrie ended up posting this and like showed pictures of the butt, and it was like, all right, you guys did this one right, or something like that.
It's unavailable though. Damn, I can't get it. That's always the case. That's why they're worth so much money. That's why I buy these statues. Like you pre-order them, and then you're like one of the few in the world that has one. And if you wait like 3 or 5 years, they double in price because nobody has one.
Yeah.
And so like that's why I have them. They're just a good investment.
Yeah.
They knew what they were
That's the
doing
one
with these
reason.
last 2 photos, by the way, FANTiM. They knew what they the last 3 photos. They knew what they were doing.
I'd be offended if they didn't.
Yes.
I'd be offended if they didn't. I've seen some like websites where like the character model was clearly made for those angles. Like they spent a lot of time in that area, but then when you look at the little pictures to preview it, they purposely avoid that exact angle and shot. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like that's why it's designed that way. And like you don't even show it. Like that's a big appeal of like that pose.
That's so true.
So I mean, we're about to wrap things up, but I got some stuff to give away. So who is ready to win? So we were lucky enough to receive some G Fuel Raiden stuff.
Raiden.
Yes.
Oh.
The exclusive box set, Raiden Shaker and all that.
Nice.
And we're about to give it away right now to anybody who has entered the contest. All you had to do was tweet or share your favorite Realm Kast episode and tag us so that we can track it. And we're about to see who won. So I'm running the random spinner over here. Let's see what we got. The winner is Shooty Refuty. Is that how you pronounce it?
That's how I say it.
Fresh and fruity.
That's great. Shooty actually is a contributing artist to the Realm Kast. She sent over, or she. I'm sorry, I'm not. She. Okay. Has sent over some artwork. So yeah, that's
Awesome.
cool. Congratulations. We'll be reaching out and sending that over to you. But thanks for everybody who shared Realm Kast episodes. We got more stuff that we'll be giving away. We gave away that Diamond Select toy Raiden statue recently, and now this, and Realm Kast merch and stuff like that. And if you guys are still interested in using that Diamond Select toy coupon code, I think it's still available. Just Realm Kast, or what was it? Realm 22 on their website. Yep, that'll give you 20% off. We don't get kickbacks or anything like that. It's just their way of thanking our guests. So feel free to use it, save some money, and buy some non-Iron Studio statues. Am I allowed to say that?
I like Iron Studios too, but this is specifically for Diamond Select toys. So
Yeah,
go buy
that's
some
right.
Diamond Select too.
All right, what else do we got, Yanni? Is there anything
We
else?
got
today?
an artist showcase, don't we?
Oh, that's right.
Ooh, coolio. Also, I want to say real quick, everyone saying what their favorite episode of the cast was is now all officially liars because the only correct answer is this one that I'm in.
Yeah.
So they're all liars, but it's okay. I'm glad they could enter and, get their free swag.
All right, so it didn't pop up.
You just wanted to put this back on the screen. Don't
Whoops.
lie.
All right, so today's featured artist is Dilara. Did I pronounce that one right?
Yeah, I think so. Dilara, well, it's at Dilara Melina, I think. She's Dilara's artworks.
Ooh.
Been following her for a while. She's got some really cool art.
Yeah, and she sent this stuff over to us to display. If you guys want to submit any artwork, see it on the show, you can do so by going to Mortal Kombat Online and submitting there. We just like showing what you guys do. It's not the official collection, but it's our collection that you guys contributed. So there's always so many great Mortal Kombat artists.
Also,
That's a traditional one.
is,
That's cool.
This is not just a showcase, by the way. This is apparently now also a belated happy birthday wish to her, because it was her birthday on November 7th, I think. So if she's checking this out, happy birthday, and love the art.
I'm impressed that it's all traditional. Like it looks like it's done with markers and stuff. A lot of these, they're not digital, which is cool.
Yeah, there's not a lot of non-digital artists out there anymore either. But maybe it is done in digital and we just don't know it.
If they're really good at it, then yeah, you can't tell.
I really, really like this piece. That's so cool. And I love that she focuses a lot on rain, actually. So yeah. my boy.
That perspective is hard. That's called foreshortening. That's a bitch. So very impressive. Yeah, to draw certain things closer and further. Also
And
very
this
nice.
one's, yeah, my favorite. I love it.
One of the best costumes ever that she's had.
Yes.
Vampirus.
So yeah, be sure to submit your artwork to us. We'll showcase on an episode. You know, we kind of choose them at random, but we like to show what you guys are making. Just visit Mortal Kombat Online to do that. And I think that's kind of it. Yanni?
I think, yeah, we're good to move into the outro, I think. Basically, a heavy Onslaught discussion today, it seems like. And I'm not surprised. I expected that to be the case. I'm very curious to hear what everybody thinks of Onslaught. If you've played it, if you've been watching it, if you've just, you've just heard about it now and you've just listened to our discussion, does it sort of paint an accurate picture of the game itself when you do check it out? Let us know. I'm curious to hear that. Other than that, really just thanking you, True Underdog Gaming. And also, if you're still there, Bran, thank you for returning. Thank you for joining us on the show today, Underdog.
He's a trooper. That Bran. He fought the battle against the internet.
He did. He almost
and he
lost, but he put up a great fight. He really did.
Very well. We'll call it a draw.
But also, thank you to everybody. Oh, there you are, Brad.
Yeah, and then also, the next Soul stream, that schedule's still up in the air. I don't know if we're gonna do it, but if we don't, we are going to release a additional Realm Kast episode for you guys. So we'll be announcing that soon. Oh, and speaking of which, Yanni, do you want to tell them who's coming up on the Realm Kast?
Yeah. All right. So we've technically sort of announced a huge list of our upcoming guests. We released a little video put together by FANTiM and was it at Survive Combatants as well?
Yeah, that's right.
We're very kind of him to help us out. We got some guests on there, and one of the guests featured is our next one, who relates not just to Mortal Kombat, but also to, well, something that took place recently, the anniversary of Starship Troopers. Everybody's favorite Johnny Rico, Johnny Cage, Casper Van Dien is coming to the Realm Kast 2 weeks from now, November 24th. So that's a cool episode. It's still crazy to me that we're talking to people like him. It's like, oh my god, what you made my childhood. And it's a really cool episode. So highly recommend it to Starship Trooper fans, Mortal Kombat fans, especially if you like Legacy. Played Johnny Cage in season 2 of Legacy and was supposed to in Generations, for which he released. Actually, yeah, might as well tell you this now. So if any of you remember when some Generations content was released quite recently from Casper Van Dien, that was because he was coming on the show. He did that for us, actually. So thank you to Casper. Yeah, FANTiM?
Yeah, that's right. And then, we got a couple people asking who the artist is again. You can find them at Lara Milena. Yeah.
Milena, not double E.
Yeah. And we'll get that out to you guys somewhere. We'll put it out, at least on the YouTube video, so you can find her. So besides that, Mortal Kombat Online does have a few other shows you guys should be watching. There's Fan Fight Fridays, which are 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, and Survival Saturdays, which are 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. If you guys aren't subscribed or a member of Mortal Kombat Online's Fight Club, give it a try. It's basically everything we wanted with Mortal Kombat 11 with the tournament modes and stuff like that, but much better in my opinion.
Actually, Underdog, have you heard of it? Fight Club through MKO? Because I know you like, obviously, fighting games and sort of.
Oh, yeah. I may have heard of it, but I'm drawing a blank right now. I could be brain farting, but it sounds familiar. Go ahead and explain to me.
So basically, Fight Club is a sort of system that MKO put together, which you link your account, your game account, I think even, is it your Twitch account, your Discord, to your Mortal Kombat Online account. And what it does is they make a tournament where it sort of draws up brackets, and you will, I can't remember the exact process because it's been a long time since I did it, and it was really cool for the record, but you are drawn up against an opponent. As you get into the game, it records the game, and it'll literally log things such as not just wins, not just fatalities, but flawless victories, I think. Even better than that, crushing blows, fatal blows, etc., etc.
Okay.
All these things, and it's all time stamped. It's all like MKO have done a phenomenal job of this, and it's such a cool and innovative way of handling tournaments, because I've taken part in a few tournaments, and honestly, the organization was absolutely crap. Sorry, but crap. And if they just implemented these sorts of things from MKO, or this thing, Fight Club, it would be so much easier to navigate, and actually so cool, because you can literally learn from this. You can learn how you could have handled a certain situation better, etc., etc. It's really cool. Like, I'm not doing it proper justice at explaining it right now. We have a full-on episode with MKO on Fight Club, which they go into full detail with it, and it's really cool.
But we're not just talking about it because, you know, it's part of Mortal Kombat Online, but we've been talking about this since before Realm Kast was part of Mortal Kombat Online. It's a very cool thing to try out. It uses all this AI to track and monitor what you're doing, and just I love it. Like, I've been following it for a few years before they actually released the beta on it, and it's cool.
It's all fun and games until they leak your data. You're all fools. Give them all this info on you, and your gameplay, they're just tracking you, selling your data. Fools. No, that's not really cool. I like that. I like it. What sounds fun about that feature especially could be like a lot of MVP awards you could give at the end of a tournament. Like, even if you don't win, it's like, oh, the most fatal blows was landed by blank. The most crushing blows was landed by blank. And so gets the award for most flawless victories. That could be fun. Like, you still win in some way. You know, I'm not quite as extreme as Ed Boon. I think the name of losers bracket should stay there. But I am a bit of like a softie. I think everyone deserves some reason to be happy and feel successful about the tournament. So if you can get like a different award or MVP, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's really cool.
Well, thank you to everybody. Not just, True Underdog again. Thank you again, Brand.
Only
but thank
me.
You also only True Underdog,
thanks.
not you listeners. But no, thank you to everybody who's joined us for the third Soulstream episode. In case you missed it, we released our most recent episode with Alec Gillis, creature creator, special effects designer. We discussed not just Alien, not just Predator, but also Mortal Kombat 1995, the original movie's Goro, who he and his team were part of designing. Especially, I'm not sure if you've seen the latest Predator movie, Prey. Really cool. They designed that. He takes us through the whole process, and it's such an interesting episode to hear about the whole process of designing and actually building these characters rather than just monsters, in my opinion. It's very interesting to hear how they treated Goro on the set, etc., etc. There's some really cool information on this. So if you haven't checked it out, if you're interested, check it out. Really cool stuff. Alec Gillis, great guy. FANTiM?
Before I tell everybody where they can find me and you, Yanni, True Underdog, tell us about yourself. Tell our viewers where they can find you, how they can keep track of you, and find your amazing content.
Sure. Okay. So thankfully my name is there, Underdog. Just type in True Under in YouTube. You'll find me. It'll autofill for you, which is nice. But True Underdog Gaming, we cover fighting games. I used to do exclusively guides, but since we don't have any new content to cover lately, no more updates and patches happening to any current games, I've had to branch out a bit. And I'm like doing a lot of throwback videos and all that fun stuff. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's a very similar name, but it's True Underdog 1. Because some guy got my name first. So I'm
every time, every single guest.
Which I know looks lame, but that's the actual URL for me. And the Twitter is just me posting funny memes. Like 99% of the time, it's just shit posting and funny stuff. Don't take it seriously. It's all just a goofy, fun time.
It's a great time.
That's where you can find me at. I don't stream yet, hoping to start pretty soon, but we'll see how that goes.
As well as on your Combat Kings.
Oh yeah, the podcast Combat Kings is pretty fun too. Yeah. If you want to see like the most honest side of all the creators when they're not reading a script, that podcast is pretty good. You'll see us get very stupid and silly. I think on the most recent one, for no reason, I just quoted Iron Man 2. And I was like, and now I want to show you all my ass. And they're just like, your ass. And they're like, and I did. I was only saying it because we were getting into costume and it was like a black screen and I was trying to scare them that something was coming. But yeah, the Combat Kings on YouTube also is very fun to watch. It's not a live podcast. I think maybe we should try that because it seems like a good idea for donations and stuff, but
it seems like a disaster if you ask me.
Because the editing takes so long, it's impossible to be relevant. We're covering films like a month late or a week late, But I guess it is what it is. Sonic's doing his best though. Sonic does all the editing. God bless him.
Gosh, Yeah.
It's what he gets for
God.
never showing his face, the coward. Him and his like hand cam. So yeah, that's pretty
Well,
much
his
it for
editing
me.
is. I understand why you've got him editing it.
So good, man. His little
Yeah.
edit he did way back when we were discussing the Mortal Kombat 11 story mode, and I threw around the idea of like it would have been so great if like everybody was fighting over Kronika's crown and it just kept getting tossed around, and at one point lands on a random Goro henchman and they just like get all buff and they're Super Saiyan. Like it would just be amazing. And he animated like the whole thing with little like PowerPoint style slideshow editing, and it was great. It was really
I
impressive.
haven't seen this. I need to find this.
I'm sure I can send it to you somehow. It was so
Yeah,
funny.
please.
Yes,
Just
please
shoot it over
do.
to me afterwards. And then quick shout out to Brand, Mr. Midnight Owl. You can find him at Mr. Midnight Owl, and huge congratulations to him because he is actually the director, which we haven't been able to announce properly on the show. George A. Romero's Resident Evil, an upcoming documentary, tentatively supposed to release in 2024. So follow him. Check this out. This movie looks amazing. We've talked to him a little bit behind the scenes, and the guest that he's pulling in for this is really, really cool. So make sure that you're following him at Mr. Midnight Owl. Midnite is how you spell midnight. Yanni had to correct me several times because I kept misspelling his.
Million. But
So-
huge shout out to Bran as well, because I mean you're always coming back on the show. Thank you so much, and I can tell everybody listening, Bran is so dedicated and passionate about what he does. So even if you don't know anything about it, I'm telling you, you're gonna have a good time with it regardless. Great stuff from Bran, and I can't wait to see it. I'm very excited.
And you can find Yanni and myself, FANTiM, on the Mortal Kombat group on Facebook, as well as the Mortal Kombat meme realm, which Yanni manages. It's on Facebook and Instagram.
And we also have our official Discord channel, which is actually on the official Mortal Kombat Online server. That's going to be through a link in the description of this video when we upload it, or rather when it goes, when we end the recording. We discuss Mortal Kombat along with our listeners and everything, which is cool sometimes, just to talk about some random things.
And special thanks to Uppercut Editions for the continued support with the Realm Kast. And the Realm Kast is the official podcast of MortalKombatOnline.com. So if you want to review any show notes from the Realm Kast, see previous episodes and stuff like that, be sure to go to Mortal Kombat Online or just check out realmkast.com. It'll take you right there. And we also have the shop.realmkast.com. And I am done promoting stuff. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.